Sometimes it's a... What do I say next? Zoom these out first, coffee second. Okay. Ow! Hi! I'm so glad you're here. I thrifted something really, really cool, to me anyway. I think I've said this before, but I can't remember. I have a passion for children's literature. I used to want to write kids' books, and I have a little collection of children's literature going. So when we went to this pretty large estate sale, and there were 2 whole bins full of old children's books, I plopped myself down on the ground and went through every single book they had in there. And when I found this, I knew I had to take it home. As you can see from the cover, it's a big golden book of Cinderella. It was printed in 1971, but it's from the 1950 version. Completely judging a book by its cover, I grabbed it. Look at the artwork. But I wanted to make sure that the artwork throughout the book matched the cover, because sometimes the cover art is a bit more stylized or painted when it comes to book versions of a movie. And I knew as soon as I opened this book that it was all going to be okay. These are just the front pages. The colors are so weird and pretty. And then this 2-page spread is just for the front matter and title page of the book. It's weird and curvy, wonky. The colors are great. I love it so much. And what is this outfit? She doesn't wear this in the movie. Here's some more front matter that's just kind of included into this. And there's little Cinderella in yet another outfit that she does not wear in the movie. Even the stepsisters and stepmother look very different from the movie in this version of the book. Look at the... And this is this book's version of her mother's dress. It's yellow, not pink. And dare I say I like it more than the pink version? And then again, there's Anastasia and Drizella not in their typical color scheme or style of their dresses. And look at the fairy godmother. Now, admittedly in this, she's a little scarier than... a little scarier looking than I think they intended. She just looks a little wild-eyed. And then we get her ball gown, which looks very different. It's like white with pink details. She's got a crown on, she's got rose detailing. The glass slippers look very similar, almost exact to the ones in the movie. There's the prince. Can't really see in this one, but just you wait. He looks very interesting. There are the stepsisters again. Oh, somebody's math homework. There's Anastasia and Drizella looking a bit more like they do in the film. And then we really get to see what the prince looks like. Who is that man? Who's... And then the 2-page spread on the end pages, and that's the whole book. And even the scene on the cover continues onto the back. So you're probably thinking, yeah, great, you like the book. What about the book? What's the deal with the book? Why are we going through the book? I want to make one of the dresses from the book, because most of them are not in the movie. According to the front matter, the illustrations are just by the Walt Disney Studio. When I tell you I yapped on and on and on for like 30 minutes about why I thought the illustrations depicted different clothing than the movie, because this book was released the same year as the movie, and clearly it was in production before the production was finished, and maybe this is what we were supposed to get in the movie, or maybe they just gave them artistic liberties with the book, and about how I googled other big golden books of their movies, and this is the only one where the artwork is actually completely different than the movie. Nobody cares. So I just shaved 30 minutes off this video because... Rant over. I want to make one of these dresses. But the question is, which one? I have to consider that I don't really want to purchase anything for this project, so I might have to make a decision based on what I already have on hand. Obviously, if I do have to go to the thrift shop, I will, but I really don't want to. The first one that stands out to me is this one. It's just so different from anything else she wears in the movie, but I don't have any fabric that looks like that. Do I? No, I don't think I do. There's also this one, which I also like very much, but I, again, don't think I have fabric that looks like that. At some point, I'd really like to make Lady Tremaine's dress from this because it's awesome. Then there's her mother's dress. It doesn't say that it's her mother's dress in this retelling of the story. It just says that her little friends made this party dress for her, which I do like, and I think I have some fabric that might work for this. Not really sure, so we're gonna move on. I definitely don't have the materials or resources to make this ball gown right now, so we're just gonna skip that one. Then there's this pink gown, and I don't really have the fabric to do that, so Gosh, I really want to make that one work. Okay. I think I'm gonna go with this one. This is the first one that jumped out at me when I wanted to do this project, so we're gonna make it work. And if I have to get fabric, I will. I think the only part of her outfit that I don't have on hand already is a green to be able to make this overskirt apron. I don't know what this is. I think I have fabric to make this, and I'm pretty sure I have fabric to make this. I would also like to make either a little bird or a little mouse. Probably the bird, because it's just too cute with the little hat on. So yeah, that's the plan. Let's get to work. So I thought there would be enough of this turquoise teal, this fabric. If I sewed the two sleeves together, I thought there would be enough to make just a little layer of that, whatever that is. I don't have enough. So after all of that, dismantling this shirt that I've had for the past 4 years, that was one of the first shirts I made, still not enough. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut out, it would be like maybe like a short mini circle skirt out of this other sheet that I have. It's already light blue, but it's not colorful enough for this. So I'm gonna cut it out and I'm gonna try to dye it. Finished painting the pattern onto this weird little skirt layer thing. That means everything is ready to be sewn together tomorrow, and we'll jump right into constructing everything. But for now, I'm gonna call it a night because it's very late and I'm pretty tired. So I'll see you tomorrow. Hello, it's the next day. So I put everything that I could on the dress form just to see it coming together. And to do that, I had to take the little overskirt thing off of the wrapping paper that I stupidly put down to protect my cutting mat. And I say stupidly because it ended up being a big mistake. The paint seeped through, of course, onto the paper, and I didn't think it completely through. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise! Because when it dried, it of course stuck to the paper, and then when I went to bring it up off of the paper, it just ripped, and now all of these little petal things on the skirt have paper on the back. That's just how it is right now. Also, I'm not too happy with the colors. I wish it had been a little bit more vibrant, and I wish I had added some more pink to the purple. Looking at the... Hi, would you like to come up? Come here, love. Oh my goodness. I do. Okay, you can stay here. You have to lie down. Where was I? When I looked at the picture again, I realized that the pattern is more of a magenta, not a purple. And a part of me really wants to fix it, but a bigger part of me doesn't, because I've already taken it up off of the table and ruined the wrapping paper because it just got ripped to shreds when I picked it up. So I think I might just leave it. So I'm not super happy with the colors on the little overskirt thing, but I think it does read what it is enough. I also wish I had made the print smaller. Overall, the overskirt is not my favorite part of this, but I think I'll come around to appreciating it all when it all comes together. So I'm gonna start sewing things together today. I did forget to cut out the little corset pieces, so at some point I'll have to do that. Maybe that'll be the last thing that I make in general, because it doesn't seem like it'll take too long, but also whenever I say that, I'm always wrong. So we're gonna start assembling things. all of the major sewing has been done. I still need to cut out and sew the corset pieces, but beyond that, all of the sewing is basically done. I guess all of the big sewing is mostly done. I am going to go to the thrift shop tomorrow and possibly an estate sale and see if I can't find some little flowers to sew onto the neckline and those little spoon-shaped little droplet things on the sleeves. I don't know what they are. I've just been calling them little spoons. Oh, I should have used a spoon to make the shape. Well, hindsight. I'm honestly surprised at how much I got done today. I was expecting this to take much longer than it is currently. It's not done, but it's not taking as long as I thought, which is different for me. But that means it does leave time to make a little bird friend. I'm gonna call it a night and we'll pick everything back up tomorrow. So I'll see you then. Hello, it's the next day. So last night after I said, oh, I'm done, I'm calling it a night, I decided to make some sleeve head attachments because when I put the top onto the dress form, the sleeves were just sagging so sadly. So I made sleeve head attachments, and for the first time I stuffed them with polyfill to make them extra poofy, and it was a good decision. They are cartoonishly large, which is good because it's a cartoon. You good? The only thing I'm worried about is I haven't tried the blouse on. I actually haven't tried anything on. I am just kind of trusting the process. So I got really excited yesterday because I did get the blouse and the skirts done, and I said, oh, most of the big sewing is out of the way. The whole corset needs to be made, which requires a lot of sewing. So when I cut out the sleeve head attachment pieces, I also cut out the corset pieces. Luckily, I already had a pattern that I drafted 2 years ago. I don't know, but I've made it a few times. You are a stinky baby. And I think it'll work well for this. I'll be doing it a different way than I have in the past, but I don't think that should be a problem. I've always sewn it with hook and eye closures in the front, but I am going to do the little zigzag pattern she has in the drawing. Uh-oh. Just probably not as many zigzags because mine won't be that tall. Otherwise, a lot of the major sewing is done, except for the corset, of course. You didn't like it? Was I not? She does not approve of the pun. I'm so sorry. Which then leaves all of the details. Now, I didn't get to go to the thrift store, but we did go to this massive garage sale type thing, and I found some things for future projects, but alas, nothing for this. So I did have to go to the craft store looking for some little red flowers and leaves in the shape of a trim, or just little decals, or even buttons, and I found nothing. The only flowers I found were insanely expensive and weren't even the type I really wanted for this. So I ended up purchasing some red ribbon, and I'm gonna see if I can't just make my own. And if push comes to shove, I will embroider a heck ton of red daisies and green leaves to be put along the neckline and on the little spoon-shaped thingies on the sleeves. And then after that, you're drooping, my love. Do you want to get some water? My goodness. Where'd Susu go? Oh, there it is! Anyway, I did get some blue flowers for my hair when I put it all together, and I got some wire to make the feet and legs for my little bird friend. It's pretty late and I still have a video to edit, so there might not be a whole lot of sewing done today. What time is it? I think I can kick this corset out in about an hour. It's not gonna be an hour. But for that to happen, I have to stop talking and get to work, so that's what I'm gonna do. I just finished the corset. Long story short, I shaved off too much of each piece and it ended up being much smaller than I intended. So that's great, but it'll work. I don't know what it is about that piece that's starting to really bring it together, but it makes me very excited to put all of the little details on and to make the bird. But I have to call it a night because I have to keep editing the video for this weekend, and I haven't started yet because what I thought would take an hour ended up taking several. Who's surprised? Raise your hand. No? Nobody, yeah. Surprise, surprise! but it's done. So I'm gonna go finish editing this video and I will see you maybe tomorrow, maybe not. So I'll see you when I see you. Hello. It's the day after the next. All of the major sewing is actually done now, which means we're on to the details. And the details we're going to be making are some flowers to put on the blouse and a little bird friend. And I think I'm going to start with the flowers because if I can get all of that done, then the whole outfit will actually be done and it won't need any more work. And then we can put all of our attention onto our little bird friend. So I'm going to start and try to make some flowers. I'm not going to look at a tutorial yet. I can't imagine it's too difficult. I just think it's going to take some time. I'm going to go get my red ribbon and we're going to try to make some flowers. I've got a pretty good base going. He is very, very small. His little feet are not very good at gripping my finger though, so I have to be very careful. So the base is done and it is very late, so I'm gonna call it a night and I'll see you tomorrow. Hello, it's the next day. I know you can't really see it, but my desk is chaos. There is just stuff everywhere. But luckily all we have to do today is finish up our little bird friend. So let's get to work. Our little bird friend is all done and I crocheted 4 little black bands to go into my hair and I think that's all there's left to make, so that means it's time for the reveal. It's so cute. This was just so much fun to see it slowly come together and to work on these little details like hand sewing the trim onto the blouse. I don't always have the patience to hand sew little details like that, but for some reason I was just in the zone with this project because I really wanted to see it come together just like it is in the book, and I think I came pretty close to doing so. I do have some things that I would redo or change in the future. The skirts look fine. I think it looks enough like the illustration that it communicates what it's supposed to be. However, the green part of the skirt has 4 panels instead of just being 1 circle skirt or even just a 2-panel double circle skirt, which would be incredible. I've never done a double circle skirt before. Imagine the swoosh. Okay, focus. I made somebody else a skirt, and what I made this out of is the leftovers from that project, and I luckily had enough to make this because I thought the color worked really well. However, to use this color, I had to squeeze the pieces out of whatever I had left of that bed sheet. So if I had to redo it, I would probably get some more green fabric and cut a continuous circle skirt, or like I said, a 2-panel double circle skirt. And then for the top layer, I would probably get a more vibrant teal color because even though I was working with what I have on hand, I wish that the little overskirt thing looked more like the illustration, and that's because I didn't buy any new fabric for this. The colors in this book are just wild, so I would probably redo that, and I would also make the print on it smaller. I made it bigger because it's an illustration. It's supposed to be kind of dramatic and over the top and exaggerated, but the print is a bit smaller than this. I would definitely redo that. I really love the blouse. Love that corset. I'm gonna be able to use that for many different things. I think the blouse, besides this guy, is my favorite thing that I made in this project. I'm just really happy with how it turned out. The process of making this Cinderella cosplay was even more fun though, because I watched every Cinderella movie they have on Disney+. Now, I know Cinderella has something to do with descendants. According to my brother, I've seen the first Descendants movie, but I have no recollection of that happening, nor do I have any recollection of what happens in the movie. So at some point, I'll probably do a Descendants project where I also watch all of the Descendants movies, because it's fairy tales, Disney, and a musical. If those came out when I was a kid, I would have been obsessed. So at some point, I'll have to watch those, but I purposefully did not watch them, even though I know Cinderella is some part of it somewhere. I did not watch those, but I watched every other Cinderella movie that they have on Disney Plus. And I thought it'd be fun if I did a little ranking of all of the different movies. So I'm gonna rank them from least favorite to most favorite. Starting with number 7, Cinderella 2, Dreams Come True. This was a set of 3 short stories that are set in the time after Cinderella moves into the castle. And honestly, I really only enjoyed one of them, where Anastasia falls in love with a baker. I thought that was really cute, and I thought it was really cute that Cinderella was trying to help her out. I thought it was sweet. Anastasia seems to be the only one of the Tremaine family that has some sort of redemption. I don't know if people just don't want everyone to be so mean all the time, but having one nice stepsister seems to be a recurring choice in different versions of Cinderella stories, and I could talk about that for a long time, but I thought it was sweet that Anastasia got her own little love story. I really did enjoy that short. The thing is, it's paired with 2 others that I really didn't like that much, so it's at the bottom. Next up at number 6 is Into the Woods. Cinderella is a main character in Into the Woods, and even though I love this musical, I had the sing-along version playing. I wish kings was only for dark, starting to stick to the steps of the path. I just don't love the movie that much, even though Cinderella's story harkens back more to the original story of there being 3 nights of a ball instead of just 1. I also believe in one of the earlier versions of the story, she has different dresses for each of the nights of the ball, and it's only on the 3rd that the iconic shoe chase happens, and also has the horrific stepmother making the stepsisters mangle their feet to fit into the slipper, which is in the Grimm's version. So even though it does take more elements from the original story, and even though I really like the musical, I don't love the movie. So it's sitting pretty comfortably at number 6. Next up, we have the 2015 Cinderella live action. Those who know me know that I don't like most live action Disney remakes, and I know that's not a hot take. Not a lot of people do. I don't remember anybody asking for a ton of live action remakes. I would love for one of the biggest companies in the world with a really strong creative team to make some more originals and possibly even bring back some more 2D animation. I could rant and rave all day about that, but I won't. Despite what I feel about most of the live action remakes, I've always kind of felt that Cinderella was a better one. It does a little bit more story building at the beginning, establishing how happy Cinderella was with her family. I feel like it also has its own vibe. I think sometimes these live action remakes feel very gimmicky. I know they're all gimmicky because they're all live action remakes, but sometimes you can feel the cash grab more than you can in others. And I was quite surprised to not feel that as strongly when I was watching this. I remember liking it when I saw it in the theater, so it was fun to revisit it. I love the costuming. I always say that the live actions are just to show off some really vibrant, colorful, and completely unnatural looking CGI, and in the same project show off some of the most amazing costuming, because the dress is iconic. And I liked it a lot more than I remembered, so that's why it's there. Next up from there is Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time. Now, I saw the memes and I saw like edited compilations of wild moments from this movie before I actually saw the movie, so I had sort of an idea of what was happening before I watched it. I think I also tried showing it to my little sister a few years ago, but she wasn't really super interested, so we didn't finish it. So this was my first time actually watching the whole movie beginning to end, and unsurprisingly, because almost none of the Disney animated sequels are canon, that's another rabbit hole, Anastasia's little tiny bit of character development was completely scrapped. My brain, wanting to connect everything to make the lore make sense, wants to think maybe it just didn't happen at the same time. But knowing that none of these movies are canon, I'm overthinking it. Anastasia's back to being mean for the beginning of the movie, and the whole thing is that the Tremaines get a hold of the fairy godmother's wand and they turn back time chronomancy to trick Prince Charming into falling in love with Anastasia instead of Cinderella. And they continue to use the magic to manipulate him into thinking it's Anastasia, but of course in the end things are put right. Anastasia has a completely different character growth moment in this movie, where she is the nicer stepsister once again. I don't know what Drizella's deal is, but she is consistently the mean stepsister. I really wasn't expecting to enjoy that movie, but I did. I liked that it added some more depth to the king, but I was not expecting it to get so intense at some points. They just straight up banish Cinderella from the kingdom and put her on a ship to ship her somewhere else. I didn't know that was gonna happen. There's also a pretty intense chase scene. And I say intense, it's a movie for kids. It was just more intense than I was expecting from a Cinderella 3. I need to clarify what I mean by intense. The chase scene happens while she's in the pumpkin carriage, and the pumpkin carriage begins to turn back into a pumpkin while she's still inside of it. The idea of her being squished inside of this pumpkin was just wild to me, but honestly it's kind of on brand for Disney sequels. I'm looking at you, Mulan, too. I was not ready. So yeah, that's all. But it also gave me a very gruesome idea for a project that I might do in the future, so... Am I blurry? I enjoyed the third Cinderella movie way more than I expected to, so that's why it's number 4. Number 3, we have the original. I know I've just spent the entire video making a dress based on the book, based on the movie, because hopefully when you see number 2 and number 1, you'll understand why it had to be at number 3. It's a classic. It's kind of always been one of my favorites. I have fond memories of watching it myself as a kid, and I also have fond memories of showing it to my little sister. I love the music. I don't know. It's a classic, so it's at number 3. Number 2 is the Rodgers and Hammerstein's version of Cinderella starring Brandy and Whitney Houston. Now, I had not seen this in years. I really didn't remember it at all, but I loved it. I love the costuming, I love the sets, I love the performances. Obviously, it had to go at number 2. So if I enjoyed that one so much and that one's at number 2, what could possibly be at number 1? Ever After, A Cinderella Story. I love this movie, and yet again, another iconic dress. You can't do a retelling of Cinderella and not have an incredible dress moment, and Danielle definitely had her amazing magical dress moment, but it's not magical because her fairy godmother is in a way Leonardo da Vinci, which is something I didn't really remember before I watched it again. Even though this is a movie I will watch whenever it's on TV, I always forget Leonardo da Vinci is a character in this Cinderella retelling. I don't know. I always enjoy watching it. I will always enjoy watching it, so it had to be at number 1. So this is my little movie ranking list of all of the versions of Cinderella that they have on Disney+. I know there are more out there. I have seen more than what's listed here. So yeah, disagree, agree, all you want. What's your favorite Cinderella retelling? I would love to know. I could talk about different versions of Cinderella for a really long time. I could talk about fairy tales in general for a really long time, but I'll spare you and end the video here. If you enjoyed this video, you can let me know by hitting the like button, and if you want to see what I'm doing next and join the channel, hit the subscribe button, and if you want to know when I post, hit the notification bell and YouTube will let you know. Thank you so much for watching. This was such a fun video to make. I will see you in the next one. Bye!